Welcome everyone to another episode of Tech Tok.
I'm Roy for the tech.
And I'm Earl for the talk.
For our fourth episode, I'll just say that again, that we're still in pandemic hours.
But worry not, listeners. Do not fear, for we are here. And we're here to bring you some more of that Tech Talk content.
So we have a topic to discuss for today's episode, celebrating life.
That's right, after all, isn't being alive just wonderful? You get to breathe air and blast all the particles you want. Isn't that right, Roy?
I can smell it already.
I love blasting particles all over the room.
And that's right. And wait. You know what else is better?
Ooh, what, bro?
This subscription is free.
I love free.
Alright, so before we get to the tech section, let's engage in some banter.
So anyway, for the banter section, I want to talk about the joy of living, Roy. And how it's easy for us to forget, and take life for granted. What I mean by that is you know how sometimes people take their lives for granted and forget that, life can be so much, so wonderful at times. I know, times, are really hard right now. Sometimes, you don't, it's the pandemic. I feel so sad that I can't get to see my friends or I can't go out. But, you gotta learn to just enjoy the little things and find happiness in anything, pretty much. You know what I mean, Roy?
And it's not just for the pandemic. It's also for anything else, especially working. Because I have the habit of working a little bit too much, so I need to learn to just lay down and relax a bit.
Yeah, we all just gotta learn to relax a little bit, and take it slow and just enjoy what's coming with us. You gotta go with the flow because
just relax.
Because the world is just so crazy, there's so many crazy things happening that's beyond our control. But at the end of the day, that's the world. You can't really control it. There's one line from a movie I really like called The Art of Driving in the Rain that I really, really like. And the line goes like this: in the end of the day, rain is just rain. A good driver will be able to drive past the situation because no matter how wet the roads are, rain is just rain, and depending on the driver, it's always up to him or her to drive past the problem. Isn't that right?
Yeah, definitely.
And for me, there's so life is what you just make of it. Even if times get tough, it's just for me a way to show off your character that despite of our times of adversity, we're still moving forward. We're still going strong. And for me, that's what keeps me going. Because things are always gonna get better. The pandemic isn't going to last forever, realistically. And there's gonna be also the hard time of us our economy getting up again, or just us ourselves trying to rise up and build ourselves up again after the pandemic.
Yeah.
But you gotta remember that at least we're gonna have that opportunity soon. You gotta be optimistic about that.
Yeah. I know. I see.
And also, another thing that people can look forward to is, there are also new games and tech going out. Did you actually know that one of the games that you can actually look forward to is, remember the Scott Pilgrim game that was taken off of store shelves, I think, years ago? Now they brought it back.
I saw the news. Yeah, I saw the news.
Yeah, the Scott Pilgrim game is being brought back for PC and for the Nintendo Switch. I'm not sure for the what other consoles.
People are raving for that.
Yeah, because that game was really fun, and I remember when I first saw the trailer, I didn't expect. I was, when I looked at it, I thought to myself, this looks familiar. This game legit looks familiar because I felt like some part of me has seen it, and at the same time, it felt like a fever dream. And then,
or a sense of deja vu.
Yeah, it was like a sense of deja vu. It only took our mutual friend Tim telling me that, it's probably because you did see it, because years ago it was taken off of store shelves and taken away from the market for an odd reason, and now they've brought it back. I'm so glad they brought it back because the game itself is really good and it looks really fun.
I guess I'll try it out.
Yeah, you really should, dude. It's a lot like River. The gameplay is similar to River City Girls, but Scott Pilgrim just has more mechanics because it had a bigger budget when it was released. Of course, it's always money, bro.
Money. PC or Nintendo Switch?
For
what should I pick?
for me, like, if you want mobility, you should probably try and get it for the Nintendo Switch because, after all, it's always nice to have it to have something to play on the go.
Yeah. All right.
And also, it's a side scroller, by the way. Like, that's all I'm gonna say about it.
Yeah, I saw the trailer. Yeah.
And by the way, like, now let's move on to technology we can look forward to. One of the technologies that we can look forward to that was actually recently released is Nvidia's 30 series graphics cards, like the 30 series. Because pretty much when it was released, everyone with a 20 series graphics card, like, they felt so, like, like,
Cheated.
they felt so cheated because the 30 series.
I spent over $1,200 for a graphics card, and now you're telling me that a graphics card that's new and twice as powerful is less
it's
less
like,
expensive and is cheaper.
yeah, they felt so cheated, man. Like, they felt like they were like swept under the rug after that. But I will say one good thing about, like, the release of the 30 series is the permanent drop, like the permanent price drop of graphics cards. So what you would normally need to pay for a 2060 Super will net you, like, at least two 2060 Supers. Just an example. The
Do you have any prices for us here in the Philippine market?
For the Philippine market, if I remember, Sergey my friend here, a mutual friend of ours, Sergey, actually showed me like a price list. I don't remember, but I remember, like, for the 2060 Super, it used to cost like around like 60 or 80, but now they dropped it to 30 to 40. Like, seriously, that's worth it if you ask me. But basically, the price drop was a lot steeper than you would think, and it makes it so now pretty much anyone who has money to burn, or you're at the neon, no shade, you can.
Oh my god.
Basically, if you have the money to, like, spend or to burn, you can get a better graphics card. You can get a really good graphics card, and you can even net yourself the 30 series because the 30 series is still pretty cheap, like, for what you get.
Okay. It's like 25k.
Yeah, it's around
for the
20
base model.
Yeah, 25k, around that much. I don't have an exact, like, price range, but I'm just like basing this off from memory, man.
Yeah, it's understandable. I mean, I'm just looking at it from Facebook posts as well. But they just scroll by because I'm more interested in phones.
True though.
True.
All right. So now, what better way to actually, raise our spirits than movie recommendations? So, Roy, do you have any recommendations for movies for us?
To be honest, no. I mean,
just no. Okay.
No, I don't have anything to say on the top of my head.
All right. One of the movies
do you?
Yes, I do actually. This is just a horror movie that me and my siblings recently watched, and I can tell you this much: it has dark undertones, but it's a really good horror movie. It's called like Sistorium, or like I forgot. No, it's Suspiria. There we go. Suspiriorium. Like Suspiriorium. And
Okay, what's it about?
Well, to give you a brief explanation,
No spoilers, though.
Suspiriorium is basically like the movie's based off of an actual 6-part play, like a playwright. It has 5 parts, and the 6th part is an epilogue. It has 5 like chapters and an epilogue. Think of it like that. And the horror movie goes like this. Those ballet studios, like those ballet companies, I don't really know what to call them. Alright, so it turns out this ballet company is actually run by a convent of witches, like, who actually worship something called the Three Mothers, and that's all I'm gonna say. And basically, a bunch of young girls a young girl actually starts, like, enlisting in this like company that's run by a convent of witches, and basically you can tell what happens. But there is a word of warning I'm gonna say. Like, this movie is graphic, so if you're gonna watch, it's not for the faint of heart. If you're gonna watch it, it's not for the faint of heart.
So definitely not for me.
Yep. All right. So, but in the list of other good movie recommendations I give, A Whisker Away on Netflix. Oh my God, yes, bro. A Whisker Away on Netflix. It's so good. Like, I don't know like what to say, bro, but that movie really pulled at my heartstrings. It reminded me of the time I first like watched like Weathering with You. Like a lot of people say that movie wasn't as good, but dude, it's good. It's good.
It's good. I mean, same. I mean, I watched it. It's like the same with Hachiko.
Yeah, it's basically Hachiko except the girl can turn into a cat.
No, not that. I'm just saying on Celebrating Life.
Yeah, like it's more on Celebrating
Hachiko.
Life.
I guess I'll recommend that.
Yeah, you should definitely recommend it. I recommend this to all my viewers. So anyway, let's move on to the real meat and bones, the bulalo of our podcast, the tech section. So, Roy, for my section of the tech section, I wanted to talk about entertainment. You know, what's a better way to lift our spirits during these times than keeping ourselves entertained? I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone does it. You know what I mean, Roy?
And I think I know what this will entail.
You know, sometimes when we're alone in the bedroom and nobody's around and it's really dark and the only thing is lighting up is the phone screen, we all love to just sit back, relax, and watch some Linus Tech Tips. Am I right?
I too
am
just sitting in the middle of my room watching MKB HD's Samsung Galaxy Note 20 review.
Ah, yes. You see? Bro, like we all got stuff to watch nowadays. Anyway, these are just a bunch of like video and movie streaming apps that I wanted to recommend.
Alright, can you hit it?
Yeah, I only have 3, so don't worry, it's not gonna be that long. But alright, so the first one is everyone should already have this on their phone. My god, the convenience it provides for like video streaming is absolutely great. It's the YouTube app. I'm pretty sure everyone should have the YouTube app. Even though,
I mean, if you have an Android, it's pre-installed anyways.
Yeah, it's pre-installed. Like it's available on iOS or Android, and pretty much everyone and their mother knows about YouTube already. Like it's such a titan in the video streaming industry. You get thousands of videos. You can make your own videos, and you can even like. I remember their old tagline. Do you remember their old tagline, Roy?
For
YouTube.
No, I don't remember.
It's broadcast yourself for YouTube. Like this was back.
Oh yeah.
It used to be broadcast for you broadcast yourself.
That's a blast from the past.
Yeah, that was before YouTube like started like turning too much on ad monetization, you know, and partnerships.
Yeah.
That was before like YouTube's system wasn't as bad as it was before. But
yeah.
I'm not gonna get into detail about their system, but what I'm saying is this is still a pretty solid app. It has withstood the test of time, and it has kept going for like more than a decade already. Because when it first released in 2005, it was just a small streaming service that barely anyone knew about. Now everyone knows about it.
Yeah, I mean because it was bought by YouTube in 2006, I guess. Yeah.
All right, now we're gonna move on. To also.
Oh wait! Did I just say you bought by YouTube?
Yes, you said YouTube was bought by YouTube. The way
I meant Google.
Roy, I'm gonna I'm gonna poke a little fun of you at you right now. Right. What you're basically saying is, the floor is made out of floor.
Made out of floor. Yeah. Google was bought by. Oh my god! All right. YouTube was bought by Google in 2006, if I remember correctly. Don't quote me. Yeah, you're just quoting on me on YouTube bought by YouTube. So
YouTube was bought by YouTube. That's a Roy 2020 moment right there.
Yes, the floor is made out of floor.
I can just imagine someone putting up a painting of you. You know, like those like realistic artistic depictions of the person alive, like those self-portraits, and you're just and that's just gonna be the quote on the museum mantle. Just YouTube was bought by YouTube, the CEO of YouTube 2020.
Oh yeah. Right. Okay. Anyway, moving on. What's your second one?
Can you guess? All right, Roy. This one is also widely known and widespread. And I can give you yes, it's Netflix. And I can give you
of course.
And the reason why Netflix, and I would recommend anyone to try this service, is because for people who don't know, if you actually create a Netflix account, you get 30 days free. That's a 1 month guaranteed of premium services and also like access to what Netflix has to offer. So
I mean, not just that. If I remember, Netflix Philippines released some of the movies and some shows for free.
So
anyone to check out.
So yeah, there's
Without the
literally
subscription, yeah.
yeah, so there's literally no reason for you not to make a Netflix account, you know? Even if you don't have a subscription, you can still view a lot of the free content that the Philippines provides, right?
Yeah, even if it's just a small amount.
After all, where would I be if I did not have My Husband's Lover Part 2?
Where will I be if I haven't watched the season 2 of Stranger Things?
That's true. That's true though. Alright. So jokes aside, I still have a Netflix subscription, alright? And again,
Yeah.
I'm going to mention it again. As previously mentioned, if you make a Netflix account, you get 30 days free to view all of the content Netflix offers. And may I recommend that everyone start watching this old anime called Black Lagoon. Black Lagoon is one of the best classic animes that you can watch. If I remember, Black Lagoon was probably made around 2008 or 2007, but it still holds up today because the storytelling and the characters are really solid. And like, I can't believe I'm gonna say this, but Roy, I'm gonna say blasphemy. So all of you weebs out there, all of you listeners who like the anime and the manga, better not like burn me at the stake for this. But the English dub is a whole lot better than the actual Japanese dub. Because think of it like Cowboy Bebop. The English dub is much better than the Japanese dub. I would compare it. Actually, when this came out, like it was compared to Cowboy Bebop, Roy. And like honestly, I want to tell you, I want to recommend this to you as well. Like what this is the anime is basically like there's this company stationed in like Cuba. Like if I remember, not
Alright.
basically Colombia. Okay, do you know like basically one of those places like littered with cartel and Cuban drug lords, that stuff. And basically there's this company
yeah.
of bounty hunters who like disguise themselves as a church, and like depending on what you pay them, they'll do a specific task for you. And like basically it's just that, dude. It's really really solid.
Okay. But you have to pry me from watching a lot of documentaries, though.
Roy, both of us know what you're watching. You're watching the plane crash documentaries.
Don't call me out.
The supplementary engine fails as it is flooded with fuel.
Alright, what's your third one?
Alright, the third and final one, Roy. I'm pretty sure everyone should know this. It's a live video streaming platform and it's colored purple. Roy, I know you know what this is. You can't hide from it. I know you know what this is.
I will say that it starts with B. Big Buck.
No, it's not Big Buck. It's Twitch. It's
Big
Twitch.
Buck.
Where did you get Big Buck from? Alright. Alright.
Big Buck.
Alright, so Twitch is basically like a streaming service where you can where you can live stream yourself playing games, doing in real life content, or pretty much anything you want. I guess the one drawback of that the thing that Twitch doesn't like tell you is that there's a minimum requirement for you to be able to stream there. Like, and it was actually told to me by like a friend a long time ago. Like there was a minimum requirement that you had to meet for you to be able to stream on Twitch. Other than that, it's completely free to make your own account and start streaming. And if you're not really in the mood for streaming, Roy, you know what else you can do? You can watch other people's streams. It's crazy, I know, right? You can watch other people's streams on Twitch.
Wow, a video streaming platform and you can watch? Wow.
Who knew that a muscular reaction allows you to watch certain like live streams from different people? Get it, Roy? Because it's called Twitch.
Wow.
Alright, so moving on from movie and video streaming apps that pretty much everyone knows about, let's talk about what everyone wants to hear, which is multiplayer games to play with friends. And mind you, everything on this list is free to play. You interested, Roy?
Alright. Hit it.
Alright, Roy, so I'm gonna give you, like, I'm going to, make you guess here. I'm gonna give you, like, I'm gonna make you guess here. Alright, so what do you think, like, my first free-to-play game is? I'm gonna make...
Team Fortress 2.
Yes, it's Team Fortress 2, baby! Alright, Team Fortress 2 is more than a decade old. It was a game released in 2008, and after 10 years of development, I can say it's worth the wait. Alright? Team Fortress 2 is a free-to-play game where you get to play as a diverse cast of 9 mercenaries with their own personalities and gameplay loops. And I can tell you this much. The game has withstood the test of time. And Roy, I am not afraid to mention that I have more than 1,500 hours on this game, alright? The last time I played, but I have stopped playing recently. Like, I've already stopped playing this, I think, 2 or 3 years ago. Like, I think I started playing around 2014, and I stopped playing around 2016 or early 2015, if I remember. And I can tell you this much: the game is solid. What you got like so many options to play as game modes. Like you got payload, cap, control points, the basic stuff for FPS. But what differs TF2 from its competitors, and something that for me Valve like has done really right, is that there can never be another game just like TF2. Remember when people were like saying, "Oh, what about Overwatch though? Will it kill TF2?" And look what happened. Oh, pretty much not a lot of people play Overwatch anymore, but you know TF2's still there. You know, people are.
I mean, I did remember playing TF2, but that was when my computer was very bad.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember you told me.
It was lagging in the tutorial, so.
I remember you told me like you got bored after like one match. And like,
yeah.
Don't worry, I can understand that. The gameplay isn't for everyone, but if you give it a chance, there's so much gameplay mechanics, so much content packed into this game that there's even like the community is really great as well, because there are people who have put well over like 5,000 hours into the game who are still enjoying it. TF2 has withstood the test of time, and in the words of my favorite TF2 YouTuber, or well, my old favorite TF2 YouTuber, Lazy Purple, TF2 is a timeless masterpiece.
Okay.
Alright, so
Any
for
more games?
my second game, this one. I've been excited. I've been waiting all day, Roy, to talk about this game. You know which game I'm talking about, right?
Does it start with an F?
Yes. I'm talking about Final Fantasy 14.
Free trial version.
Yeah, this is okay. This is Square Enix. This is Square Enix's like flagship MMORPG. And despite how long the game has like been how old the game is, they're still releasing high quality updates for it. And I can tell you this much: this game deserves a lot more like a lot more. What's the word, Roy? I can't really find the
praise.
Word. Not just praise. It deserves a lot more like clout. Like it deserves more popularity than you initially have. I mean, the game's already pretty popular, but it deserves more. You know, because in terms of MMORPGs, I used to play WoW. Yeah, I used to play World of Warcraft like back then. Like this was back when I was 7 or 8. I'm telling you, like Final Fantasy 14 is the best, I think, MMORPG that I've played, because, and I mind you, I'm just a free trial player, and I haven't even bought the full game. And speaking of the free trial, Roy, did you know that Final Fantasy 14, like there's a free trial that allows you to play until you're level 60. Or you can play all of the classes if you want, like any class you want until level 60. Then when you're done with that class, you can change classes and level it up all the way from 1 to 60. And
so do it all over again.
And not just that, it's free. From the base game is completely free in the free trial version, all the way up to the first expansion, which is Heavensward. That means you can play as much as you want, even though you're a free trial member.
Basically, the game is free.
Yeah, basically not completely free, but you're getting a 1,000 peso game. Like basically, you're getting probably 2,000 pesos or 1,000 peso, like a 1,000 peso game, absolutely free. And
that's basically it. 1,000 for free, essentially.
Yeah, essentially, dude. And if you subscribe, like if you choose to pursue this game, like you buy the base game and you subscribe like you do with any MMORPG, you know what you get, Roy? You get another 2 whole expansions that are really long, and you get like endless content to work with. We're talking about a lot of content. I wouldn't say endless, but there's a lot of content that's worth replaying and a lot of content worth doing, all right? And I can tell you this. This is the main difference with FF14 compared to its competitors. Roy, you want to know what the difference is? So Roy, you want to know the main difference between FF14 compared to other MMORPGs, and why I think it's one of the most highly praised games out there in the market? Well, Roy, But yeah, this is basically what like this comment on a forum I saw
I mean, I'm
about
not playing
M14
it
basically
right now,
sums it
so-
up. In games like World of Warcraft and other MMORPGs, and mind you, I'm not stating this as fact. I'm just stating this based off of the comment I saw. All right, that's just a disclaimer. All right, don't sue me. I'm just a guy with a mic. I don't have money. All right, so
Yeah. Alright.
yeah, we're not doing this for money, and we're not passing it down as fact. But basically,
Alright,
compared
we're not
to
doing
other
this for money,
MMORPGs, in Final Fantasy 14, there's a lot, and I mean a lot of things you want to do. Because aside from the main quests, from the class quests, from leveling, you can also do other things like side jobs. Like for example, you could be a warrior who's also a weaver. That means you can carry a big axe in the day and knit sweaters at night. There's so much side content for you to enjoy. And if you're not doing the side jobs, you can also grind for a lot of loot and replay a lot of raids. And mind you, a lot of these raids, a lot of these trials are really fun. All right? And one Yes.
Wait, I just
I mean,
checked,
if it
so I
says
just
so, then it is.
checked how
And
old Final
for those of
Fantasy
you who don't
14
know,
is. Is it
Final
really 10
Fantasy
years old?
14 actually went through a really rough
you know.
launch, and it was because of
Yeah.
a flower pot with too many polygons. I'm not sure if that meme holds true, but from what I remember, it had a really rough launch because the game wouldn't start up half the time, and when it did, it was really laggy. We're talking PowerPoint presentation, but look at it now. A few decisions later, Square Enix just made one of its best flagship titles spanning over a decade. And the reason I call flagship is because they're still updating it after 10 years. They're still providing high quality content for it. And this is what differentiates Final Fantasy XIV from other MMORPGs, at least for me. Final Fantasy 4, aside Final Fantasy 14, FF14, just so I avoid saying the full name over and over again, and I can't stress this enough, has so much side content and so much stuff. Even when you finish the main story and all of the class quests, there's so much stuff for you to grind for and do. One of my favorite aspects of the game are the mounts. Yeah, replayability. Okay, Roy. For those of you who don't know, and just to explain it to you, Roy, mounts are basically these horse things. Do you know how you could ride a horse? But here in Final Fantasy 14, you ride something called a chocobo, which is basically a giant chicken ostrich hybrid. Yeah, more or less chocolate. All right, but you don't eat this one. Actually, you can eat this one. You can eat this
That
one.
sounds like a
But
chocolate.
yeah, more or less. There are mounts, and the first one you get is something called a chocobo. And
Nice.
after that, there's a lot of the game gives you a lot of free mounts, a lot of free basically, just so that people can understand, free horses, quote unquote. But here's the thing, they're not really horses that you can ride. They're just different creatures. My favorite one would have to be the monkey one, because after all, who does it like monkey? Ooga booga. Yeah, return to monkey. But this is just this is what I just wanted to
Return
talk
to
about.
monkey.
Please, Final Fantasy 14 has a free trial. Alright? Please download it, give it a try. I can guarantee you won't regret it. Because the free trial itself makes it so that you can play any class you want up to level 60. And even if you're done with a specific class you picked, you can go back and play other classes until level 60. Yeah, an unlimited free game. This game,
So it's
oh my god,
basically
unlimited
an
free,
unlimited free trial.
AAA game, and you can yeah, it's more or less a WinRAR thing, because you can play all the way up to the
This
first
is
expansion.
a
I can tell this
WinRAR
much
deal.
from what I've heard from my
Hell
friends.
yeah.
I haven't gotten to Heaven's Ward yet, which is the name of the first expansion, but from what I heard from my friends, it's absolutely amazing. The story is so good, and mind you, the game even has voice acting. So I recommend that you watch all of a lot of the cutscenes because I remember what my friends told me, it's a lot more like a movie than an actual game sometimes, because there are sometimes 1 hour long unskippable cutscenes.
Let me see the availability of
Yeah, it's
F14.
widely available. Everyone,
Uh-huh,
please
let's see.
give this MMORPG a try.
It's also on the
so
PS4,
much fun.
no wonder.
All right, now I guess that does it for my section. All right, Roy, what do you got for us today?
So I got this section called All About Smiles. It's basically just some
Oh,
games
that
and
sounds
one
great,
app
dude. Let's hear it.
that-
Lay it on me.
just makes you happy or celebrate life. Yeah. Okay, so though unlike the previous 3 episodes, this one is I only have like 1, 2, 3. I only have 4 to talk about. So let's get started.
All right,
Okay,
let's play this guessing game.
I'll describe a game and you'll try to figure out the title. Sounds fun.
Oh my.
Okay, so
I think I know what this is. I
for
just
iOS
forgot
and
the name.
Android,
It was like
this
is it
is
ayun,
a cat
is it
collector
Neko
game.
Atsume? Tama ba yun? All right. Oh my God! Someone cue the Wawa Wii music. I just won, baby.
Yes, yes.
5,000
was-
pesos.
Okay,
Oh yeah,
5,000,
I think I
5,000.
remember. I remember this game.
I
like,
remember
very
this
fondly.
being the
Like,
hottest
I remember
game back
everyone in
junior
their
high,
mother
grade 9.
played it. Like it was so like it was just a game about collecting cats, you know. And like there was even a gacha game about like there was even a gacha game like part of it.
Yeah,
And you had to buy.
yeah,
And you
because
had
you
to
have to
sometimes
buy
buy
food, you
cats.
have to buy the toys for those cats to come in.
Wait, you don't have
So
to.
you can
Okay,
collect
so yeah, I'm
them,
thinking
yeah.
of another game. I'm thinking of another game.
No, I don't remember that aspect of the game.
Oh,
But
so
here's
now
the-
you can
here's
share
the
on
better
Facebook.
part.
You know,
You can
the
take pictures
comparison
of
of
it
Neko
in
like
game,
Atsume
not a screenshot.
to like it reminds me of another mobile game, Roy. If I remember, it's like Comfy Home or something, or like what was it? It's basically Neko Atsumix.
Like, it's basically Neko
Ayun,
Atsume,
ayun, it
but,
was it Comfy
years
Home or
later.
was like Comfortable Home? What? I don't remember
The
the name.
memes were hot on those.
Yeah, it was the same game where you could collect pets and design a house and design
Somewhere
a home.
along
I like
those
all of
lines,
the
I
memes
don't
that sprouted
remember
from it.
anymore.
Like one of my favorites is like how it was called Adorable Home.
Yeah,
I
around it,
remember. I like how they were all. I like the memes that came. Like how people had really good adorable home like houses, but
There
their
we
in real life
go.
house was an absolute mess. Oh, I love those cursed memes and those cursed rooms.
Okay, guys, look at my house.
Now look at my in real
really
life
good.
house.
It's really
No,
nice,
those cigarette
It's not a
butts on my
game,
table
guys.
are
It's not a
absolutely
game.
there for a reason. They have to be there. They're the centerpiece of my home. To show off my crippling smoking addiction. Absolutely. Okay, this is another. Okay, editor, please cut that out. Alright.
That is something that we
Raph,
have to cut
Raph,
out.
my
Hell
main
yeah.
man, please cut it out.
All right. Moving on. Hey. Okay, so moving on.
Is it Dog
There's
Atsume? Hindi, joke lang.
Another one. It's similar to Neko Atsume,
Alright.
but it's for dogs.
It works the same way as like Neko Atsume, doesn't it?
No, it's Fee Dog. Fee Dog. Yeah, it's
Using
a dog
your
raising
dogs.
game,
My-
but
I think
unlike
I've
Neko
heard of
Atsume,
this
it's
before,
basically
but I
an
can't
RPG
mention it on the
because you have to
podcast.
battle monsters.
Because it'll be cut out
Yes.
again. Yeah, I'm not gonna say it. I'm not. So
Please
it's like
don't.
Pokemon,
Please
except
don't.
with
Okay,
dogs.
so-
Dude. Wait, isn't
Yeah,
that?
it's a dog-themed RPG. You battle enemies with your dog. Yeah, and except except
I'm
Pokemon,
sure
it's dogs.
the
and
name's
you battle
coming to me, but I can't say it.
Yeah,
I can't really say. But something,
Yeah.
basically what you can do with real life, because honestly, like dogs can also are really good. Like, there's a reason there are a lot of guard dogs in airports, especially like dogs are really, really good like creatures for like guarding stuff and especially tracking. And I can tell you this much, like dogs are just awesome, man. That's all I really have to say. Dogs are just really rad. Yeah, I also have a dog. Small Shih Tzu.
Yeah. I know because we have a dog. Alright. Oh, nice. Okay, so moving on.
Is
The
it
final game.
Oh, I know. Is it about a bunch of jelly
We
beans
just
like running around
played
on
this
two legs?
yesterday. I'm sure you know what this is.
Ah, okay. It's Fall Guys. It's Fall Guys. Or is it the other
Yes.
jelly bean game? All right,
But which
I know
kind
what
of
you're talking
game?
about here. It's Among Us. Okay.
Ah! Yes,
This-
you are correct.
Hey Roy,
Beans.
you all
It's
remember
all
that
about
meme
those
about
beans.
beans,
I
how a guy was
suddenly
caught in the
now want to
theater
have
eating
those Samsung
beans.
beans. Damn, he's eating beans.
Yep.
All right, so for you listeners,
Yeah, it's 5 to
out
10
there,
players. It's 5 to 10
it's a
players.
multiplayer party game. 4 to 10 players. Actually, no, 5 to 10 players, I guess.
Yep. And
Okay,
to
so
make
what you
it
basically
interesting,
do is
alright,
you
and to
find
make it
the
interesting
imposter
is,
and
in
vote
Among
him
Us,
off the
if
ship.
you're just a crewmate, like you're not the imposter, your job is to do this bunch of tasks. And the reason you should be doing these tasks is so that to increase the likelihood of you winning. Because the more you do tasks, the more pressure you put on the imposter to act. And the more pressure you put on the imposter to start like killing people and to start like acting and sabotaging and all that, the higher the chance you'll figure out who it is. And sometimes I can tell you this, there's a lot of like
Or
funny
sabotaging the ship,
moments you
yeah.
can actually you can actually farm from this game. My favorite is Roy, remember when we played this yesterday with one of our friends, alright? Like one of our mutual friends. Yeah, like it was you. I remember like like sometimes yung
Oh, it was
like
you,
yung
it was
friend
you, you're the
ginagawa ng mga
imposter, you're the
kaibigan
imposter.
natin, 'di ba sinusundan ka na lang bigla-bigla alta para sabihin mo siya, oh my si Red's the imposter, but mo sinusundan.
Yeah. Or
Yeah, I mean,
the time when you guys
could you
framed me
blame
as
us,
an imposter
dude? And I
because
remember like
I
okay,
went
this is
to
one
the
of my
wrong
favorite
room
like moments from this game. But we
do
have
the
a
task.
mutual friend. Shout out to Garrett. All right, Garrett, who was the imposter, right? Like the whole like I remember like the entire like rounds we've played, he was the imposter once, and he was immediately found out, and for one reason, because we were in a voice call, Roy. Like remember we were in a voice call talking about this. Like we were just like explaining like, all right, we have to do these tasks, and then for some reason every single time Garrett was singing like Payphone by Maroon 5. Like he kept singing it, and then like that's when like, and I remember Ethan calling like, okay, Ethan's a mutual friend of ours, right? Yeah, I'm gonna just say basically we called an emergency meeting, and when it was called, we all immediately knew it was our friend Garrett, all right? Because he kept singing, alright? Why else would he be singing? And when we ejected him, it really was him. He was the imposter. Alright, so please.
Oh yeah. Also, I remember what you said yesterday.
When have I ever
on,
lied?
our love and us being suspicious of you being the imposter and how your defense was.
I remember. Oh, that was so good. That was
The
so
one that you
good.
just did.
When
1
have I
minute ago.
ever lied? You literally just lied a minute ago. No, I didn't.
Ah yeah, fun times.
You have no evidence. I demand court. Earl Itlogo is the imposter. Or sometimes you can even like just be
Earl
like you can
Itlogo's the
clown on your
imposter.
friends in this game really hard. You can call in an emergency meeting and then just say na miss ko lang kayo guys. Okay, carry on. like I can tell this much, but word of warning though, be careful not to abuse like the
Carry
emergency
on.
meeting too much because everyone only gets two. Everyone only gets two emergency meetings.
Yep.
Yep, because we always
And
keep
it somehow
miss ko lang
seems
kayo
that
guys.
we
Kaya ako
conveniently
kinol yung
forget
emergency
that
meeting
limitation.
kasi na-miss ko kayo guys. Okay,
Miss ko
carry
lang
on.
kayo guys.
But this
Miss ko
game
na kayo.
is okay. For our viewers out there, like this game is similar to a game like Town of Salem, which is more or less the same thing as basically Among Us and Trouble in Terrorist Town for Gary's mod. Basically, like they have the same concept as Among Us. One of you is the traitor or the imposter, and you gotta figure out who it is while doing a bunch of tasks. Yeah. I get no. It was from
It was
DNHA, dude. Like, okay, but
Oh,
go on,
you don't
explain it.
know.
Explain it
You
to me. I
don't
want to know.
that
I want to know
that
more.
reference. All right. So basically, I know, but no, but no, it's just a theory early on in the series framing Denki as a traitor. But anyway, Among Us is basically that fun party game.
With your friends.
That's
It's
all
so
about
chaotic.
mindless
There's
fun.
no
It's
there's no
basically
way
to
you
waste
wouldn't enjoy it,
time and
especially
enjoy
like
life.
and also this game like forces you to think outside the
friends.
box, especially if you're imposter. For example, if you just killed a guy and you walked out of that room and someone tried to enter the same room as you, then and reported the dead body, you gotta think of a way for you to not be ejected because you were the last person in the room. So so that person who just entered that room where you killed someone in is going to blame you. So you know what you gotta do? You gotta pull the crisscross applesauce on him and tell him
Or do what you just did yesterday, where you hit me and killed me, and our friend Arlo was there.
or you could just
For it
lie
to
and say,
see.
I'm pretty sure
And
Arlo's the
I
suspect."
wonder why you were kicked off.
you gotta get good with like your deception skills. You know, the rule of thumb in Among Us is if someone stays still for more than 20
Crisscross
seconds, they're the
applesauce.
imposter.
It wasn't me.
I mean, that's the reason I was kicked off. Like, someone was like, "Oh, you didn't do your task."
Oh, he went to the wrong room. He's the imposter.
No, you're gone. Name every task. If you don't, you're gonna be kicked off.
Oh, you're a crewmate. Name every task.
Alright, so
Fun times. Alright, that's all I have for the games. I have one app, just one app.
ooh, alright.
And
Why?
I have put it in a
Oh,
section
okay,
called
okay.
Celebrate
Let's
Life.
let's hear what this app is.
You know why? Because subscription is free. I mean, also, the name of the section, so at least the description of the name, subscription is free, rings
Alright.
true because the app that
So,
I'm going to
let-
talk about is free. Like, no ads, no in-app purchases.
Oh, is it
So what I'm
Instagram?
going to be talking about is...
Is it Instagram? Let me
A photo
take my
sharing
1
app.
millionth picture of this cake. Is it this cake good, guys?
No! No!
Look, see. Parang familiar. Like, it sounds familiar. Parang I think I've
Okay,
seen an
so
ad
what I'm
about it
talking
once
about
or
is
twice. But
Looksy.
can you tell me what Looksy is?
Okay, so it's an Android-only
so basic-
app where it's all about location-based
So
sharing
it's like-
of photos.
Oh, you like
What
for
do I
example,
mean by
you take a
that?
picture of a landmark. Like for
It's all
example,
about
I'm here at EDSA. And then like
Take a picture of this location. I'm requesting it. No, it's not even a social media. It's basically, well, you can argue it is, but what I'm saying is that
oh, so
it's not
basically
the
like
talking
it,
that's the app all about. It's the pictures of locations. What you just do is
Oh, and then
you
like-
request
oh, it's like
a
one of
location.
those-
So for example, oh,
this
I like
reminds me of one of
pictures
those old forums
Rizal.
online where you could ask people for the same
Alright.
thing. Like you could,
Alright, I'll
it
take a
does the
picture
same
of
thing. You can
Rizal.
ask people for pictures of locations. Like, hey, can someone take a picture of themselves on top of an Eiffel Tower? And like and then they would send it. They would attach it to the thread. That reminds me of that.
Yeah. And get this, what's better
Photo sharing.
is that this encourages celebration of life through
Yeah, we can't go outside or else the police are gonna get us.
well, we can't go photo sharing. I mean, not just going outside because we can't do that right now.
5G towers activate.
But what
I'm
I'm
sorry,
saying
I can't
is
get it
that-
out of my head.
Celebrating life that
I'm sorry. Okay, your train of thought was basically
Yeah.
it's you were mentioning
God,
how
now I
like
don't
during
know
the
what I was
pandemic
saying.
this is good because
Well-
you can still get to see places you want to see despite being locked into your home.
yeah, because even if you can't go outside, like there are other countries where where there are no more lockdowns and
Yeah,
quarantines,
yeah,
you can just request.
you could do that.
But
yeah,
I miss going to this location. Can someone take a picture of it?
but I could, I just thought of something of this
Yeah,
app, Roy,
it's
and,
the
and this
celebration
time we don't
of the
have to cut
joys
it out
of
because it's
living.
actually pretty funny.
Joy of creation.
What if you take a picture of a location and there's just a shadow man in the background, like this really creepy guy in the background that's staring at the camera, and like the following pictures is just like blurry images of of the guy running away, but the shadow man is right behind him. Legends.
The shadow man
On
is
the-
approaching.
You're looking
and
for
he
a
wants
free
to talk
mobile
about
online
rage, shadow.
online free experience.
Well, MMO, RPG, DVD,
this would have happened
available
if you hadn't been using
with MKV
NordVPN.
HD.
NordVPN. Yeah, alright. So, okay, since we're now done with our
not
topic and all, it's time to give the time to AJ for the game section.
Yeah.
So, AJ,
anyway, that's
please
all the
take
apps
it
that
away.
I have. Yeah.
Thanks guys, it's gamer time. So that means I'll be handling all the sand from here. What's up gamers, it's me again, back at it again with another game analysis. For today, we're having two games. First, we're going to talk about Journey. And we have an upcoming game in Steam called Genesis Noir, in which I found very interesting. All these are available in Steam and may contain spoilers, so if you're okay with that, continue on listening. So let's start with Journey, an indie game developed by That Game Company and Santa Monica Studio, and published by Sony Computer Entertainment. It is an adventure indie co-op atmospheric game. It won different awards like VGX Award for Best PS3 Game last 2012 and VGX Award for Best Independent Game for 2012, BAFTA Game Awards for Online and Multiplayer 2013, and British Academy Games Award for Game Design 2013, as well as BAFTA Game Award Score Plus 2013. Alright, so what makes Journey so special that I want to talk about to you guys? In Journey, you play as a mysterious rogue individual whose goal is to reach the mountain and transverse into a seemingly endless desert. This gameplay and narrative might look common, but the underlying metaphors and storytelling is very heartwarming. It has been a very notable game with regards to storytelling without making cutscenes, but instead uses game design to tell the game story. Journey talks about life's beginning all the way to the end, ups and downs, and the people we meet. The player starts in a desert, and as the player progresses and learns more skills, the world starts to get bigger. Though the world is big and there is so much to explore, the player is still guided in their journey. Like in life, you always have people around you to help you and guide you along the way. And as you go on, the game expands more in a way you will have the feeling of uncertainty and very unsure on where to go. So you have to rely on your intuition on where you have to go. Especially on a side note, there's no map on this game, so you really need to explore different places and secrets until the atmosphere changes. It becomes full of life and filled with wonder and fun until you're dropped under a cavern. In my opinion, this could be a metaphor on how sometimes we feel like we have a lot of time and have no problems, but suddenly something stresses us out and we need to deal with it. Once the player enters the tunnel, the journey becomes dangerous and you need to evade those big flying machines called guardians. These guardians can attack the player when spotted and the length of the player's scarf will be reduced. Though no formal metaphor has been made by our game analyzers in YouTube or Twitch, My understanding in this concept is that your player's spark is probably what you have been experiencing in life, and by having it reduced by the so-called guardians is like when you let your negative emotions take over, in which your body forces you to forget those moments even though it's really memorable. Moreover, it becomes harder to progress with a shorter scarf. Like in life, it's harder to move forward if you have less experiences. The next levels will challenge the player's wits and brain power by having different mini puzzles and more of a vertical approach when it comes to its design. After some time, the player arrives at the base of the mountain with a sense of relief that you, as a player, is almost there. But then, you face very cold winds, and as you, the player, moves forward, it drains your power. Harder for you to maneuver around and evade some guardians in the area. In the end, the player gets tired and collapses in the snow. All hope is lost. Death was certain and evident. But then, you get revived into full power by 6 white-robed men, and you fly upwards as you reach the peak of the mountain. As I analyze this further, it shows that in life, we get to have moments where we are hanging by a thread and losing hope, almost giving up. But the 6 white-robed men are the people around us who believe in us, those who use their voices and love to restore the hope within us, so we can move forward again. And as we let ourselves trust their words, we help ourselves and see that they're right. It was right for them to believe in us, for they have seen our ups and downs and how emotionally strong we are. In the end, we accomplish our goal. We reach our own mountaintops and see everything from above. It looks wonderful. Thus, in some cases, journey has been interpreted differently. Brandon M. Jacobs sees this game as a game of life itself, where the glorious dunes represent our childhood, and leaving it to enter a cave would seem so scary. And as we become adults, time becomes so fast and pushes us to move forward, and eventually, death is where we end. But one thing is certain: the afterlife is something that is glorious. Journey was expressed by game and design, aesthetics, and soundtrack, and no single word was ever uttered. The experience is enhanced by being able to meet another player or many others you can bond with and play the game along with. Another thing is that once you have mastered the game and has seen its secrets, your robe turns into white and differentiates you from other players. This makes you look like a teacher, and you can bond with someone who could be your student. To conclude my analysis with Journey, it is a very good masterpiece. It is a game wherein you experience what life is while sitting down on a screen and making you appreciate life despite its challenges, despite its hardships, and everything. Because in the end, it's all part of your journey. Next is Genesis Noir. It hasn't been fully released yet, but the demo version of the game is already in Steam, so if you're interested, you could download the demo. It is a game made by Feral Captain and published by Fellow Traveler. It used to be a Kickstarter project as well. It won first place in the NYS Game Dev Challenge. So far, the initial release lets you start off as a cosmic entity who wants to save the love of his life. To do so, the player must stop the expansion of the universe. As daunting as it seems, the gameplay itself is very interesting. You play as a peddler named No Man stuck in a deterministic hell, and there will be different puzzles along the way. You'll experience different challenges and meet other people, like the bassist busker, in which you get to jam with. With the unique gameplay and aesthetics of Genesis Noir, it surely becomes a really good game, and it's very unique in my opinion. You don't see a lot of games having different mini games inside of it and making it work to tell you a story about one man. It is like a slice of life turned into a game. So if you're interested with those, despite this short analysis since the full game isn't out yet, I would want to make a full analysis of this one once it's released in the future. So after all of this, thank you for listening and see you guys next time. Stay safe, gamers.
And that's it for this episode. We hope you listeners out there had fun.
And before we go, we'd like to thank Jared Hortaleza for providing the background music of today's podcast. As always, we hope you've enjoyed this episode. This has been Tech Talk, and that's all we wrote.
See you next time.
See you next time.